Hi everyone, you are watching Commerce King Academy right now, and we are here on chapter number 5 with the name Ledger Account. You already know that we have done its theory, concepts, related illustrations as well as its problem number 1 in last videos. So in this video we have solved our next problem, which is problem number 2. So let's start with problem number 2. You can see here, which is this is the requirement of problem number 2. Journalize the following transactions and post in the ledger and prepare a trial balance. That's it. Due to the length of the solution of this problem, I have designed for you the structure of the solution of this problem in this way. That is, journalize the transaction and just read by me the problems or transaction comprehension and then its journal entries. Okay. After that, I will give to you with clear understanding the posting into the ledger account. Okay. After understanding the journalize of transactions entries and post them into the ledger account, the last step, which is trial balance, will clear to you in written form. Okay. So now we will move toward the solution of this problem. So 2005 Jan 1st, the first transaction of this problem, which is Mr. Nadeem, which is the owner of the business, okay, commenced business with rupees 80,000 cash, furniture worth 10,000 rupees, motor car valued at 24,000 rupees, and stock worth 40,000 rupees. So all these assets, it may cash, furniture, motor car and stock, will be considered as the assets of the business in the context of investment of the business. You can see here, this is the format of a journal account, which is date column, details, ledger volume, amount in debit and amount in credit. The journal entry of this transaction will be cash account debit amounted 80,000, furniture account also debit amounted 10,000 rupees, motor car account will debit 24,000 rupees and stock account amounted 40,000 rupees. These are debit accounts against to capital account with totals 154,000 rupees. With description, business started with cash, furniture, motor car and stock. Understand? After completion, first entry of this problem, now we will move toward next. This transaction held on Jan 3rd. Deposited cash into the bank 76,000. This transaction have too much simple journal entry, which is Jan 3rd bank account debit to cash account credit, with same amounts 76,000 rupees and 76,000 rupees with description cash deposited into the bank. When every business starts its operation, business must open its bank account because some transactions payments will done in future by bank account and same as receipts will deposit in bank account with the name of business. Same here you can see in this transaction, that is bank account to cash account, cash deposited into the bank with the name of business or in the account of business. Okay. Next transaction held on Jan 5th, which is purchased goods on account from Imran worth 18,000 rupees. So understand here the comprehension of this statement, purchase goods, that's mean goods purchased by the business on account. On account means on credit basis from Imran. Imran is the supplier of the business here, wherefrom purchases had done by the business. Are you understand this comprehension? Okay. So the journal entry will be Jan 5th. Purchases account will debit to Imran account with credit with same amounts 18,000 and 18,000 rupees with description. Goods purchased on credit. That's it. The entrance of this transactions entry has been completed here. Now we will move toward next. Next transaction, which is Jan 6th. Sold goods to Babar on credit basis for 12,000 rupees. So Babar is the customer of the business right here. So Babar account debit to sales account credit in the books of the business amounted 12,000 rupees and 12,000 rupees with description goods sold on credit. Next transaction held on Jan 8th, which is bought office supplies from Rafiq and Company for cash amounted 400 rupees. Understand here the comprehension of this statement, which is bought office supplies from Rafiq and Company. So Rafiq and Company is the supplier of the business, okay, which have to supply the office supplies to the business. Okay. This is the journal entry, which is Jan 8th. Office supplies account debit to cash account will credit 400 rupees debit and 400 rupees credit with description or details of journal entry. Office supplies bought for cash. Next transaction held on Jan 10th, goods sold for cash amounted 4,000 rupees by the business. So these are the sales of the business. This is the journal entry of this transaction, Jan 10th. Cash account debit because cash came into the business account to sales account credit. With same amounts debit and credit 4,000 and 4,000. With details goods sold for cash. Next transaction, Jan 11th, which is paid rupees 1200 as travelling expenses to salesman. So it will be expense for the business, right? Jan 11th, travelling expenses account debit against or to cash account credit 1200 and 1200. Okay, so details paid travelling expenses. Next transaction is on Jan 12th, withdrew from the bank for personal use. The owner of the business amounted 2,000 rupees. You must keep in your mind forever that anything withdrawals by the proprietor of the business for personal use will be considered in the account or in the context of drawings. Okay, this is the journal entry of this transaction, which is Jan 12th. Drawings account will debit to bank account credit with same amounts 2,000 and 2,000. With details or description, cash withdrawn from bank for personal use by owner or proprietor of the business. Next transaction, which is Jan 16, withdrew from bank for office use rupees 6,000. This is the business expense, not a proprietor personal expense, same as above. So it has the different entry from above. This is the journal entry of this transaction, which is cash account debited by 6,000 rupees and to bank account credit with same amount 6,000 rupees. With details or description, cash drawn from bank for business use. Simple is that. Next transaction is Jan 19, issued a check to Imran of rupees 17,600 rupees in full settlement of his account. Before moving on the solution in the entry of journal account of this transaction, you must keep in your mind. First of all, we review the previous account of Mr. Imran. On Jan 5th, which is the previous date, we have purchased goods on account or on credit basis from Imran worth 18,000 rupees. So now, on date Jan 19, paid to Imran in full settlement 17,600 rupees. That means ultimately received the 400 rupees as a discount to business by Imran. So the journal entry will be Jan 19, Imran account debit amounted 18,000 rupees and then to bank account credit because payments done by bank account 17,600 rupees, and ultimately the difference of both amounts 18,000 and 17,600 rupees is 400 rupees. It will be the discount received for the business. So the journal entry will be to discount received account credit with details or description, payment made by check and discount received. I am clearing to you that is any entry have more than two accounts. Just like this entry, it will be the compound entry, and if any entry have two accounts just like this or previous entry, it will fall in simple entry. Simply this is the simple entry and this is the compound entry. Next entry is Jan 22, paid carriage in cash amounted 1200 rupees. The journal entry will be Jan 22, carriage account will debit amounted 1200 rupees to cash account credit with same amount 1200 rupees with details or description, paid carriage by the business. Next transaction held on Jan 25, received a check from Babar for 12,000 rupees. So this is the previous account of Mr. Babar in previous date on Jan 6th, which was sold goods to Babar on credit for 12,000 rupees. And ultimately generated 12,000 rupees accounts receivables toward Mr. Babar. So in next date, right here, Jan 25, now received a check from Babar for 12,000 rupees. Understand? The journal entry will be Jan 25, cash account debit with amount 12,000 rupees to Babar account credit with amount 12,000 rupees with details or description, check received assumed as cash. Understand the reason, that is received as a check and enter in journal entry in cash. Okay, the reason behind entrance of this check as a cash into journal entry, it may cause two reasons. Okay, first it will be check received and not deposited by business into the bank account in same date and hold on and considered as an asset or cash for the business and making entry cash account to Babar account. The first reason could be this, and the second reason, check received by the business and immediately cash from the bank. Okay, and we can say this reason, the immediate owner of check or immediate cashed check by the business. Okay, so with the existence of both reasons which we have discussed earlier, so the entry will be cash account debit to Babar account credit with details or description check received and assumed as a cash. Understand? Next transaction of this problem is Jan 31st paid rent of the building by check amounted 600 rupees. This is too much simple entry which is Jan 31st rent account debit amounted 600 rupees against to bank account credit 600 rupees with details or description rent paid by check. Next transaction held on same date Jan 31st which is commission received amounted 400 rupees. Journal entry will be Jan 31st cash account will debit amounted 400 rupees debit to commission received account credit amounted 400 rupees. The last entry of this problem which is held on same date as above 31st Jan which is bank charges made by bank amounted 50 rupees. The last journal entry Jan 31st bank charges account debit with amount 50 rupees and to bank account credit amounted 50 rupees with details or description bank charges deducted by the bank from business bank's account. And we can say in simple words deductions made by the bank. So dear students, all the journal entries of all the transactions has been completed here. Now we will move toward our next stage which is ledger account or posting these entries into the ledger account. So dear students, you can see here the format of ledger of cash account. This is our first account, debit side and credit side. You can see all the structure of entries and I will explain to you that how we will enter these entries of both accounts in this format, right? This is our first account. Find into first transactions entry which is cash account to capital account. Invested cash into the business, right? Amounted 80,000 rupees. So cash account debited by capital account. We will enter this entry into the ledger account in this way that we will enter the opposite name of cash account. You can see here, this is the structure of ledger account. So cash account will debit by capital account, amount 80,000 rupees. Understand? First entry of cash account has been completed here. Same as first transactions entry of cash, now we are going toward next entries of cash in next transaction as well as from journal accounts. The second entry of cash account held on Jan 3rd. Okay, bank account debit and cash account credit against bank account. Okay, same we will find next all the cash accounts and ultimately we will enter all cash accounts into the ledger of cash account. Okay, you can see here cash account credit by bank account, cash account credit by bank account. We will enter the opposite name of cash account which is bank account. Am I right? And enter the amount of cash accounts amount which is 76,000 rupees. Now we will find our next entry of cash account from journal account. Yeah, we have cash entry into Jan 8th which is cash account credited by office supplies account. Jan 8th cash account credited by office supplies account amounted 400 rupees. Okay, after that we have our next cash accounts entry in Jan 10th. Am I right? So Jan 10th cash account debited by sales account with amount 4,000 rupees. Are you okay? So Jan 10th cash account debited by sales account. We will write here the opposite name of cash account which is sales account and enter the amount ahead cash account which is 4,000 rupees, right? After entrance of this transaction, now we will move ahead. We find cash accounts entry into the next date which is Jan 11th. So cash account credited by traveling expenses account. Understand? So you can see here Jan 11th, cash account credited by traveling expenses account, which is amounted 1200 rupees. Entry has been completed now. After completion, Jan 11th, cash accounts entry. Now we will find more of cash accounts entries. So our next entry held on Jan 16th transaction. So cash account debited here by bank account amounted 6000 rupees. Transaction which was cash drawn from bank for business use by proprietor. So Jan 16, cash account debited by bank account, am I right? With amount 6000 rupees. Our next findings about cash account. So we will find cash account in Jan 22 entries or in transaction which was paid carriage. So carriage account debited by cash account. So cash account credited here with amount 1200 rupees. In this way, Jan 22 cash account credited by carriage account amounted 1200 rupees. After this, we find cash account in next date which is Jan 25. Okay. So transaction was check received assumed as a cash. Cash account debited by Babar account amounted 12,000 rupees in this way. After that, we find next cash account entry from journal account which is done on Jan 31st. Okay, so cash account debited here by commission received account. The entry was commission received in cash amounted 400 rupees. So cash account debited by commission received account on Jan 31st amounted 400 rupees. Dear students, all entries of ledger of cash account has been completed here. Now we will calculate this side, this is the credit side, and this side, this is the debit side. And ultimately we have debit side heavier than credit side. And ultimately we have the balance carry forward on credit side. As I said earlier, our debit side is heavier than credit side. So ultimately we have debit balance is 23,600 rupees of cash account. After completion, the ledger account of cash account, you must keep in your mind one point is most important. That is, we must give the ledger folio number to all accounts. Just like this, we will give the ledger folio number or account number to cash account which is 5 or may 6, 7 for your own convenience to identify or searching the account easily by this conduct. Okay. So where there is cash account is exist in journal account, we will write the cash account number ahead this account just like this 5 and 5 and also 5. This is the ledger folio number of cash account. And next we have also cash account here, give ledger folio number account number to this 5 5 5 and also last account number 5. And we must write here account number or ledger folio number here top of the ledger account. Cash account and its ledger folio number is 5. Okay, now the format or workings of ledger of cash accounts completed now. Like this, cash accounts ledger folio number or account number is 5. So same like this, we will give to other accounts the names just like this. Furniture accounts ledger folio number is 6 right now, and motor car account ledger folio number is 7. Same as above, stock account, our next account, have ledger folio number 8th, and capital accounts ledger folio number is 11th. Understand this concept of ledger folio or cash accounts numbers concept. Just like we have made cash accounts ledger account. So now we will make our next accounts ledger account which is furniture account. So this is the format or structure of ledger of cash account. Furniture cash account number or ledger folio number is 6. So furniture account is debited here against to capital account. So we will enter to the account of furniture account into ledger account in this way. Jan 1st 2005. So furniture account debited by capital account. We will enter the opposite name of furniture account which is capital account. Okay, with amount 10,000 rupees. We have totals of both sides and have ultimately the balance of 10,000 rupees on credit side. So we have debit side heavier than credit side here. So ultimately we have debit balance of furniture account. Clear? So our next account for making the ledger account, which is motor car account with ledger folio number 7th, amounted 24,000 rupees. Motor car account debited by capital account here. You can see here, this is the ledger account of motor car account with ledger folio number 7th. We can say to this also account number. Motor car account number is 7. Clear? So motor account was debited by capital account also. We have totals of both sides, debit and credit. So we have balance on credit side amounted to 24,000 rupees, and ultimately we have debit side heavier than credit side. Debit balance of motor car account, which is 24,000 rupees. So we have prepared the ledger of cash account and ledger of furniture account and ledger of motor car account. Now we will move toward making of next accounts ledgers. We have our next account, which is stock account in compound entry. So stock account debited by capital account 40,000 rupees. This is the ledger account of stock account, ledger folio number 8th. Am I right? So stock account is debited by capital account, amounted 40,000 rupees. So we calculate of both sides debit and credit, and we have credit side is lesser than debit side. So we have balance carry forward on credit side, okay, 40,000. We have debit balance of stock account because debit side is heavier than credit side. So our next account for making ledger account, which is capital account, have ledger folio number 11, amounted 154,000 rupees. Understand the capital account is credited by 4 accounts: cash, furniture, motor car and stock account. So let's move toward making of ledger account of capital account. You can see next, this is a ledger account of capital account, have ledger folio number 11. Am I right? So capital account is credited by 4 accounts: cash, furniture, motor car and stock account. So we calculate to these accounts amounts. We have totals of both sides. So we have no balance or totals in or on debit side. So total balance we have on debit side. So we have credit side is heavier than debit side. So ultimately we have credit balance of capital accounts 154,000 rupees. So after understanding of all these accounts, ledger accounts making process, now we will move toward next accounts, which is bank account. We will make bank accounts ledger, and at last we will make all the accounts ledgers along with their ledger folio numbers. Our next account for making ledger account, which is bank account, which ledger folio number 12. So bank account debited here by cash account on Jan 3rd, cash deposited into the bank, amounted 76,000 rupees. This is the first entry of bank account, and next entry will be find on Jan 12th, bank account credited by drawings account 2,000 rupees. So entry description, cash drawn from bank for personal use. We find next bank account in the entry which held on Jan 16th. So bank account credited by cash account right here amounted 6,000 rupees. Entry description was cash drawn from bank for business use. Next bank's entry exists in Jan 19th. Bank account credited here by Imran account with amount 17,600 rupees. Next bank account entry we find into the Jan 31st. Okay, bank account credited by rent account amounted 600 rupees. Rent paid by check. Okay, and last entry of bank account finding in same date Jan 31st, bank charges account debited by bank account credited 50 rupees. So bank account credited here. So you can see here the ledger account of bank account with ledger folio number 12. Okay, this is the debit side and credit side. So bank account was debited by cash account in Jan 3rd entry amounted 76,000 rupees. And next entry was held on Jan 12th into the general account. So bank account was credited by drawings account 2,000 rupees. Next Jan 16, bank account was credited by cash account on 16th Jan amounted 6,000 rupees. And next bank account transaction held on or involved the amount 19th Jan, bank account was credited by Imran account, amounted 17,600 rupees. Next, bank account credited by rent account, amounted 600 rupees. And last, bank account was credited by bank charges account, 50 rupees only. Am I right? So we have totals of both sides. So we have debit side is heavier than credit side. Okay, so we have the shortage or less balance on credit side, which is 49,750 rupees. Okay, and ultimately we have debit balance of bank account. Reasons behind that we have debit side heavier than credit side. We have prepared the ledger accounts of cash account, furniture account, motor car account, and stock account, and capital account. After that, we have prepared the ledger account of bank account. Our next account for making ledger account, which is purchase account. Okay, have ledger folio number is 30. So on Jan 5th, purchases account debited by Imran account, amounted 18,000 rupees. This is the ledger of purchase account with ledger folio number 30. So purchases account debited by Imran account on Jan 5th, am I right, amounted 18,000 rupees. We have totals of both sides and have difference of 18,000 on credit side. So we have debit side is heavier than credit side. So ultimately we have debit balance of purchases account. Our next account for making ledger account, which is Imran account. Okay, so Imran account is credited by purchase account on Jan 5th, amounted 18,000 rupees. This is the ledger of Imran account, and ledger folio number is 15, right? So now we are going toward its entries. First entry is on Jan 5th, which was Imran account credited by purchases account. We will write here the opposite name, which is purchases account, amounted 18,000 rupees. First entry of Imran account has been completed now. So we will find next Imran account entries from general account. Okay, so this is the general account, and the next entry exists here on dated Jan 19. Okay, Imran account debited here by two another accounts. So we will enter these accounts in this way, Jan 19 and Jan 19. So Imran account is debited here by these two accounts. This one bank account and this one discount received account. Okay, so the amounts of debit side and credit side of Imran's accounts are equal, 18,000 and 18,000. So there is no difference between both sides, and we have no debit and credit balance of this account. That means the Imran account has been settled or completed completely here. Our next account is Babar account with ledger folio number 16. The first entry of Babar account is on Jan 6th. Babar account debited by sales account amounted 12,000 rupees. And the second entry exists, Jan 25th entry, which is Babar account credited by cash account, check received assumed as cash, amounted 12,000 rupees. Babar account with ledger folio number is 16. Okay, debit side and credit side. Same as Imran's account, Babar account also have no any balance, debit or credit. These are the entries. Babar account on Jan 6, debited by sales account, amounted 12,000 rupees, right? And the second entry of Babar account into the ledger account, which is Jan 25, Babar account is credited by cash account. Both sides are equal now. There is no difference any side. That means the Babar account has been completed or cleared or settled now. Next account for making its ledger, which is office supplies account with ledger folio number 17. So office supplies account debited here on Jan 8th by cash account. Office supplies bought for cash, amounted 400 rupees. You can see here, this is the ledger of office supplies account with ledger for 17. Okay, debit side and credit side. So the entry was office supplies account debited by cash account. Cash is the opposite account name of office supplies account in the general account. So Jan 8th, cash account and amount 400 rupees. This is the total of debit side and this is the total of equal total of credit side, and ultimately we have the difference of both sides on right side, which is credit side, balance carry forward 400 rupees. So debit side is heavier than credit side, so we have ultimately debit balance of office supplies account. After completion of office supplies account, now we have our next account, which is sales account with ledger folio number 18. First entry of sales account on Jan 6. Babar account debited to sales account credited. So sales account is credited by Babar account, amounted 12,000 rupees. After that, we have sales entry into the Jan 10th transaction. Okay. So sales account credited here by cash account amounted 4,000 rupees. Goods sold for cash. This is the ledger account of sales with ledger folio number 18. Am I right? First entry, Jan 6th. Sales account was credited by Babar account. Babar account is the opposite name of sales account into the journal entry. Amounted 12,000 rupees. Understand? The second entry of sales account held on Jan 10th. Sales account also credited by cash account here amounted 4,000 rupees. Cash account is the opposite name of sales account into the journal account, which we have discussed earlier. So we have totals on credit side and debit side columns. So we have difference of total amount 16,000 rupees on debit side. So credit side is heavier than debit side here. So ultimately we have credit balance of sales account. Our next account is ready for making its ledger account, which is traveling expenses account. Am I right? So Jan 11th, traveling expenses account have debited against cash account, amounted 1,200 rupees. Description is paid traveling expenses. So there is no another entry of this account into the journal account. So this is the ledger of traveling expenses account. You can see here with the ledger folio number 20. Understand? Debit side and credit side. This is the format. And Jan 11th, traveling expenses account was debited by cash account. Okay. So we will enter the opposite name of traveling expenses account, which is cash account, right? Amounted 1,200 rupees. We have used amount ahead a traveling expenses account. Okay, you must keep in your mind. You will enter the amount ahead intended account, just like this. Traveling expenses accounts amount was 1,200 rupees, but we will use the name of opposite account, which is cash account. So we have totals 1,200 rupees of both sides, and we have total difference on credit side. Total amount is 1,200 rupees. So we have debit side is heavier than credit side. So ultimately we have debit balance of traveling expenses account. Our next account for making ledger, which is drawings account. So Jan 12th, drawings account debited by bank account here with ledger folio number 21 with amount 2,000 rupees. So this is the ledger of drawings account with ledger folio or account number 21. The entry is Jan 12th, drawings account is debited here by bank account with amount 2,000 rupees. We have totals as usual or earlier. So we have total difference of 2,000 rupees on credit side. So we found debit side is heavier than credit side. So ultimately we have debit balance of drawings account, which is 2,000 rupees. So our next account for making its ledger account, which is discount received account. Am I right? So on Jan 19th, discount received account credited here by Imran account amounted 400 rupees. So this is the ledger of discount received account with ledger folio number is 22. With entry on Jan 19, discount received account credited into the journal account by Imran account, right? Amounted 400 rupees. We have total difference of 400 rupees on debit side. Okay, so ultimately we found credit side is heavier here than debit side. So ultimately we have credit balance 400 rupees of discount received account. After making the ledger of discount received account, our next account is carriage account. Okay, so carriage account is debited here by cash account. Cash account is the opposite account name. So this is the ledger of our next account, which is carriage account with ledger folio number 25, right? So entry was Jan 22, carriage account debited by cash account amounted 1,200 rupees. We have totals and ultimately find the total difference on credit side, because debit side is heavier than credit side here. So ultimately we have debit balance of carriage account amounted to 1,200 rupees. Our next account, which is rent account. Okay, so the entry is Jan 31st, rent account debited by bank account amounted 600 rupees. Entry was rent paid by check. You can see here the ledger of rent account with ledger folio or account number is 30, right? Debit side and credit side. The entrance is rent account is debited by bank account on Jan 31st. Am I right? Amounted 600 rupees. So we have totals and have total amounts balance on credit side, because we have debit side is heavier than credit side. Okay, so ultimately we have debit balance of rent account amounted 600 rupees. Our second last account for making its ledger, which is commission received account. So on same dated Jan 31st as above, commission received account credited by cash account amounted 400 rupees. Have account or its ledger folio number is 50. So ledger of commission received account is here, you can see, with ledger folio number is 50. Okay. So commission received account on Jan 31st credited by the account name cash account amounted 400 rupees. So we have totals of both sides and found difference of 400 rupees on debit side. Okay, and the credit side is heavier than debit side. So ultimately we have credit balance of commission received account amounted 400 rupees. Our next or last account is here for making its ledger account, which is bank charges account. Okay, so on Jan 31st, bank charges account debited here by bank account with ledger folio number 38 with amount just rupees 50. With description, bank charges deducted by bank. So this is the ledger of bank charges account with its account number, which is 38. Okay, when we will talk about its entry, so bank charges account is debited here on or by bank account, am I right, with amount 50 rupees. So we have totals of both sides 50 and 50, and we have total difference of this amount on credit side. So we have or found debit side is heavier than credit side. So ultimately we have debit balance of bank charges account is 50. Dear students, now we are on our last step of this problem, which is trial balance. Okay, so you can see here, this is the format of trial balance: serial number, account names, account numbers, or its ledger folio numbers, debit amounts and credit amounts. Okay, so now we are ready to enter these entries into the trial balance. So let's move on finding or picking their balances. We have found already into the ledger account, just like this: cash account with ledger folio number 5 or account number 5 and have debit balance 23,600 rupees. So serial number 1, account name cash account, account number or ledger folio number is 5. We will enter its amount on debit side, 23,600 rupees. First account's entry into the trial balance has been completed here. So our next account, which is ledger of furniture account, am I right, with ledger folio number or account number 6, have debit balance amounted 10,000 rupees. So serial number 2, furniture account, number is 6, amounted 10,000. Next account is ledger of motor car account, ledger folio number 7, have debit balance 24,000 rupees. Serial number 3, motor car account with ledger folio 7, amounted 24,000 rupees. Next account is stock account, number 8, have also debit balance amounted 40,000 rupees. Okay, account serial number is 4, stock account, account number 8, also debit amount 40,000 rupees. Next account is ledger account of capital account. Okay, with ledger folio number 11th, have credit balance amounted 154,000 rupees. In serial number 5, capital account with ledger folio number 11th, credit balance amounted 154,000 rupees. Next account is ledger bank account, account number 12, have debit balance amounted 49,750. Serial number 6, bank account, number 12, its ledger folio number amounted debited 49,750. Next ledger of purchases accounts, debit balance is 18,000 rupees. So serial number is 7th, account name, which is purchases account, ledger folio number is 13th, debit balance 18,000 rupees. Next account, which is Imran account, ledger folio number 15. So due to the settlement of Imran's total account, where there is no any difference or ultimately no any balance, debit or credit. Okay, so we can say this account is closed by its settlement of amounts. So ultimately it will not enter into the trial balance account. So same as our next account is Babar account. So this is the similar account of Imran account's nature. There is no balance because this account have all settlements of its amounts. Same as Imran's account, it will not enter into the trial balance account. So this is our next account, which is sales account, have credit balance amounted 16,000 rupees. So serial number 8th, account name, which is sales account. Ledger folio number 18, credit balance 16,000 rupees. We will write on credit side. Next account is office supplies account. Okay, so have debit balance amounted 400 rupees. Serial number 9, office supplies account, have ledger folio number 17 and debit balance 400 rupees. Next account is ledger of traveling expenses account, have debit balance amounted 1200 rupees. Serial number 10, account name traveling expenses account, ledger folio number 20, debit balance 1200 rupees. Next ledger account is drawings account. Okay, 2000 rupees. So serial number 11th, account name drawings. Okay, ledger folio number 21st, its balance 2000 rupees on debit side. Next account is discount received account, ledger folio number 22, have credit balance amounted 400 rupees. Serial number 12, account received, its name discount received, ledger folio number 22, credit balance 400 rupees. Next account is ledger of carriage account, 25 ledger folio number, and have debit balance amounted 1200 rupees. Serial number 13, account name carriage account, ledger folio number 25, debit balance amount 1200 rupees. Next account is rent accounts, ledger balance, which is debit balance amounted 600 rupees with ledger folio number 30. Serial number 14, account name rent account, have debit balance amounted 600 rupees. Second last ledger account is commission received account with ledger folio number 50, have its credit balance amounted 400 rupees. Serial number 15, account name commission received account, ledger folio number account number is 50, amounted 400 as credited. So last accounts entry with name ledger of bank charges account amounted 50 rupees is as a debit balance with ledger folio number 38. Serial number 16, account name bank charges account, 38 its account number, debit balance as a 50 rupees. After entrance of all the entries of trial balance account, we have totals of both sides. You can see here debit side total and credit side totals. Dear students, you must keep in your mind forever the accounting treatments or its operations accuracy proves, that is, its debit and credit sides must be equals. It will prove your error detecting tool of all your workings as well as accounting operations. You may solve any problems or practical work in the organization. In each and every case, you will find their totals, debit and credits equals. Hopes to understand by you this problem. If you have any ambiguity or confusion in this problem, you will share in the comments section. So thanks for watching this video, and if you like, then don't forget, share, subscribe and comment. Thank you all.